May I now request Sadhguru for his address.
Andarku Vandanamalu. No, don't be afraid, I won't speak in Telugu. Because I don't want to kill Telugu here on stage. My engagement with mountains, forests and rivers goes back to my early childhood. When I say my engagement, not in terms of enjoying nature or its resource, I experienced these dimensions of nature's expression in many ways as an intrinsic part of myself, particularly with Kaveri. On the banks of Kaveri, I was born and I grew up. So, from the age of 12 to 17, almost every day, I swam in Kaveri. When I was around 17 years of age, I rafted down Kaveri for 163 kilometers from Bhagamandala to Mysore. For 13 days, just on 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos, I lived off the river. And I did not feel Kaveri as a water body, but as a life much larger than myself, as a life which nurtured a million other lives, a phenomenal expression of life itself. In the last 25 years, I've been watching the depletion of rivers across the country. But in the last 7 to 8 years, this depletion has become very steep. So steep that it's alarming, and many scientific studies clearly say by 2030, many of these rivers which have been perennial for ages are going to become seasonal. Already many rivers have become seasonal. Your Krishna unfortunately has become seasonal, Kaveri has become seasonal, Narmada has become seasonal, like this we can go on. Inflict pain upon ourselves by saying that rivers which were perennial just 25 years ago have all become seasonal now. And there is no other cause than ourselves for this. We as a generation of people have taken the largest bite of this planet. And it's time that we do some corrective or compensatory action. It is towards this rally of rivers. All of you, I know you're not rallying for rivers, you're just protecting yourself, and that's good. I want you to do this for the next 1 month. Wherever you go, if it is sun like this, if it's rain like that, if there is nothing, like this. Because you need to understand this. This is the moment in our lives, either we do the right things or we sit by and watch disasters to unfold. This is not alarmist activist talk. This is proper science that we are heading towards a disaster. The problem is we have a very short memory. Before 1950s, every second, third year we used to have famines. When famines happened, people did not die in dozens or hundreds or thousands, but they died in millions. 1943 Bengal famine killed over 3.25 million people, but recently I was listening to Shashi Tharoor, he's saying the actual statistic is 5.2 million people. 3 or 5, it doesn't matter. Over 3 million people dying in 2.5 months' time, not because of a nuclear bomb or something, sitting quietly, not having the energy to move, without food and water, quietly dying. We cannot forget that suffering and once again drive the country in that direction. But I must say, I am not given to praising people for nothing. I'm very critical generally about everything. But I must say, when I went to Kerala, which is called the God's own country because of its greenery and its water bodies. I must say, since I left Chennai and entered Andhra Pradesh, this is also looking equally green and with lot of water bodies along the highway at least. We geared up when we were in Chennai, oh my God, we are going to Vijayawada, dry and hot, we better be ready for the weather. Of course it's hot, but I found the highways I think it's in the best condition in the country, I have to say this. And the central medians are all well-maintained, green, flowering plants. Unfortunately, we have not done this in the rest of the country. And the Chief Minister was telling me that he's driving towards 50% of the land into horticulture. This is the thing to do. This is the thing to do in the country. You must understand, as far back as when travelers like Megasthenes, Huan Sen came, and also when Kautilya wrote his treatise, they all mentioned that Indian population has an unusually large fruit in their diet. It is said, it seems Huan Sen commented that Indians have a very sharp intellect mainly because of their fruit consumption. But today our fruit consumption is 4% of our diet. Even this 4% is largely among the elite population in the country. The poorer class in the country, the farmer on the field, maybe not even eating a fruit once a week or once a month. If at all if he eats, it's generally banana and nothing else. So, going for horticultural crops essentially means shifting our agriculture from crop-based, very destructive way of doing agriculture to tree-based agriculture. For this, all the people in Vijayawada, 30% of your diet should become fruit. You're not saying anything. You like your chintathaku and rice, I know, but 30% of your diet, if it becomes fruit, 40% of country's healthcare bills will come down. These are established facts. If you bring 30% fruit diet, probably in many years you will not go to your doctor. Little bit of yoga and 30% fruit diet, you would see you will have an immense sense of energy, and very rarely, if at all ever, you will ever fall sick. This is something that the body needs. All of you know this because suppose your friend is sick and in a hospital, you take biryani and go to the hospital? I'm asking you, I don't know what you do, Vijayawada. Huh? What do you take? If still he is reasonably well, fruit, if he is dead, flowers. But not something else. So you also know the best diet is fruit. Forever we have known this in this country, but we have completely forgotten this. As a part of this in Tamil Nadu, we are requesting the government, but there it may take some time, but they are willing to do this, which I'm sure Babu Garu is more than willing. I'm just putting this idea across to him. In every village, we are willing to make this happen and manage this. In every village, 1 acre of land, close to the village we want, so that we will grow 5 varieties of fruits and protect the trees and nurture the trees. This is only for children below 15 years of age, so that they know the joy of plucking a fruit and eating, not going to the market and eating. Free of cost. Only thing is you can't take it, you can't pluck the fruit and take it. You can sit there and eat as much as you want, so that our children in the villages… This is one thing I always observe wherever I travel in the world, whichever part of the world I travel in. First thing I observe is how are the children? because children in many ways are the most precious stuff that people have in their life. If you look at the condition of the child, you know the condition of what that society is in many ways. But I find even if you go to remote parts of Africa, they may not have a piece of cloth on them, the country is in very bad state in many ways, but children are bouncy and healthy. But if you go into our villages, unfortunately, we see our children not healthy, scrawny and struggling to walk. This is because shifting from subsistence farming to cash farming, people may have little more money, they have cell phones, they have motorcycles, they have tractors, but they are not eating the food as they should. Most of the people are just eating rice, tamarind, chili, onion. They know how to make their food tasty, but there is no nourishment. One of the best things we can do is, we are thinking of this combination, which I'm sure in this state it's much easier to do, is a fish pond and a fruit garden, where anybody can go and fish and pluck the fruit only for children, but fish for everybody. Anybody can go and fish, not in nets, but they can fish and eat the fish. If we bring this, the malnutrition condition can change dramatically. Why am I talking about malnourishment when I'm supposed to be rallying for rivers? You must understand this. If anything significant has to happen in this country, or in any country for that matter, first thing is you must take care of the well-being of the people. If you do not take care of the well-being of the people and talk about great things of raising new mountains, these things are not going to happen, they are going to be remaining empty talk. If it has to happen, we have to show people how it is going to benefit them. Because we are still a need-based society, and we always will be, unfortunately, unless our consciousness rises to such a point that we will think beyond our needs. Right now, whether you go to the marketplace or you get married, you are thinking of what will I get out of this, yes or no? Hello, let's be straight about this. Hello? It doesn't matter what you do, personal or public, are you not thinking in what way will it benefit me? So we are a need-based human beings yet. So when we're in this condition, it's very important that this is conducted in a strategic manner, not in an emotional manner. This is the biggest problem in the country. We have big emotions. I don't trust emotion anymore, because I have seen people worshipping Ganga this moment, and next moment they're spitting in the same Ganga and walking away without any emotion. So I don't trust your emotion. We need an enforceable law, an implementable law. A law as unambiguous as, let's say, traffic rules. You're supposed to drive on the left side, if you drive on the right side, within 10 minutes you will be picked up and there is a price to pay. The same should happen with the rivers, because river is not your or my personal property. River is a national treasure and we must learn to treat it as a national treasure. This is what the policy is about, and the policy is an economic plan for the well-being of the farmers, for the well-being of the society, and it'll also immensely benefit everybody involved, including the river, with economic policy with significant ecological impact. It is very important. The economics and the benefits that people get is taken care of if you want to save the natural resource in this country, because we as a nation has the highest land population ratio. Our ratio is not good. But if we have to benefit, if we have to preserve our natural resource, the only way is, it is not man versus nature. We have to put them together and say, nature's well-being is also our well-being. We have to show that it is beneficial for everybody involved. Only then we can make this a success. This policy document will be presented to the central government and then released to all the state governments and the media and the environmentalists and many other scientists across the world, so that everybody can look at it, and in case we have missed something, we want you to contribute to fill the gaps if there are any gaps. I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to every one of you. This, of course, you must do for the next 1 month. You must not keep this down. okay? Rain, sun, nothing, whatever. If you can't take this and walk around, print a t-shirt for yourself and walk around in the town, because this is important. This is once in a lifetime chance that we have. Because when I was in Puducherry, the chief minister there, Sri Narayan Swami, was saying, Sadhguru, 24 years ago when I was in Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet, we had a similar, nearly similar policy document prepared. All the experts agreed with this, but we could not get the concurrence of the state. This time around, these 16 states which we are driving through, why 16 means these 16 are the most heavily farmed states. These 16 states we are driving through, only 2 chief ministers I actually met and explained. All the others, including your chief minister, we just wrote a letter. Within 15 days, all of them confirmed the dates for participation in the Rally for Rivers. This shows we are not the same people who we were 25 years ago. Here you see a spectrum of political parties sitting together for the same cause. This shows we are not the same people. The ignorance with which we handled 25 years ago, we are not going to do the same again now. One more aspect why we are driving through the entire country is, if you pass a policy like this and start implementation, even a very aggressive implementation will take 10 to 15 years of implementation. And it'll take another 5 to 10 years for the rivers to actually rise. This means 20 to 25 years to see results. This means 4 to 5 democratically elected governments would have come and gone. Many of us may not be alive to see this. If a government has to go for a policy of this long-term nature, there are many aspects involved in this, many complexities in execution, a huge financial outlay. If they have to do it, we being a democratic nation, it is the business of every citizen to clearly make a statement that we as citizens have come of age, we have matured, we are no more a freebie generation. If you do something for the long-term well-being of this nation, for the future generations of this country, we are with you. This is the statement you're making when you vote for Rally for Rivers with this missed call. And I want every one of you to participate and make sure everybody in Vijayawada does the same, everybody in Andhra Pradesh does the same, because this is our moment of contention. Are we going to be a disastrous generation or are we going to be a responsible generation? This is the question. In our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, that's not a problem. But in our lives, if we do not do what we can do, we are a disaster. It's my wish that we are not a disastrous generation, that we prove ourselves to be a worthy generation, and we will leave this country in a good state for the next generation of people. Thank you very much.
Sadhguru Pada